Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 7th installment of Westchester Knicks Weekly. I'm your host, Alex Fasano, alongside Ian Sacks. We come back from a very long spring break with an eventful month of March for Westchester.
Westchester is 2-6 in the month of March. They got their first win of the month with a 123-111 win over the Long Island Nets. They followed this up with a 116-104 win at the Erie Bayhawks. In their most recent game, they lost to the Windy City Bulls 124-116. We'll recap all these games after this.
If you build it, they will come. Coming to Iona in the fall 2016, a new master's program in sports communication and media, taught by industry professionals. Students train and work with the Fantasy Sports Network and ESPN3 as producers, directors, and reporters for live shows and events. Advanced students take their skill to the big stage with pro coverage in Westchester County and the tri-state area.
Hi, I'm Anthony Carlo, and I'm at the Madison Square Garden Training Center.
As the season progresses, he'll be allowed to go deeper into bowl games.
The Jets, winners of 5 in a row, sit at 10-5 and control their own playoff destiny as they head to Buffalo for the regular season finale.
The biggest sports networks are located just 30 minutes from Iona's New Rochelle campus. Don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen. Iona and you.
Welcome back, Ian. Let's get right into it. Westchester, two bright sides of Westchester's long month of March being these victories over Long Island and Erie. The first game against Long Island, John Jenkins, we saw 28 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Damian Inglis also 14 points. So obviously a lot of these players are getting the time that they need to score these points.
Well, you see that home cooking is good for Westchester. They spent the first 5 games of the month on the road. Then they come back, they play the Long Island Nets, and they pick up a victory. 42 points in the fourth quarter. Most impressive to pull away from the Nets. And Deron Lamb showing up with a season-high 25 points. Great to see him starting to really fit in and gel a little bit in this offense. And, of course, you mentioned John Jenkins, 28 points. And how could we forget Kevin Capers with his first double-double of the season, 14 points, 10 assists.
Unfortunately, for Westchester in this victory, Nikola Jovanovic was not too impactful. He only had 7 points, 3 rebounds, so it wasn't the big man that they're really trying to get out of Nikolai, but he still was a very big impact. You mentioned Deron Lamb and Kevin Capers stepping up. Jalen Bond as well, another no-name on the bench, tallied for 18 points. So again, the key, we've been saying this all season, the key for Westchester is everybody getting involved and touching the ball.
Well, it's the guard play, and this team is deep at the guard position. They don't have the bigs. When Endor and Plumlee aren't there, they have nobody down low, maybe Inglis. But the thing is that they're going to have to rely on their guards going the rest of the way.
You also mentioned having Endor and Plumlee in the victory over Erie. Endor had returned for Westchester and dominated the field. 27 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for the night. John Jenkins also 26 points. It's great. These guys who are putting the points up really showing for Westchester, giving them a face of a franchise.
Well, Jenkins, his 3rd straight 20-point game. But talking about Endor, of course, you can look at his 27 points, his 10 rebounds, both game highs, but also a game-high 4 steals. So doing it on the defensive end, Endor leading the way for the Knicks against a Bayhawks team that they really need to beat. The Bayhawks, the cellar dwellers in the division, Westchester needed that victory.
You mentioned Endor being dominant on the court. Also at the line, shooting 11 for 13. So it's great having players like Endor who can always guarantee their foul shots, because in reality, you should really never miss your foul shots. And a big man like Endor making the reliable plays on the line when needed.
Well, it's good that the Knicks can count on him when they get to those late game situations where they're going to need to shoot free throws. It's good that they know that they can count on Endor, and then Endor leading the way in their most recent game too.
Speaking of counting on players, Travis Trice tallied 17 points in a couple games back for Westchester, so it's nice to see a familiar face dominating. 17 points, 6 rebounds, so it's great to have a familiar face, a good atmosphere around this phenomenal player of Travis Trice.
Well, you know how big of a fan I am of Travis Trice, and he didn't play for some of his first games back with Westchester, but it's good to see him getting back into the flow and starring for the Knicks.
Moving on to the most recent game of the month of March, the Windy City Bulls unfortunately taking it to our hometown Knicks, 124-116. Really, we did see the impactful play again from Endor, 23 points, 10 rebounds, another double-double back-to-back for him. Deron Lamb even stepping up again. It's weird. These players have like different gaps where they'll shine and then take a little lull, shine and take a lull. Deron Lamb is one of them who we saw him dominate against Long Island, now against Windy City.
2 out of 3 games for Deron Lamb, over 20 points. I think that if he can demonstrate some consistency down the stretch, that could be a good momentum push for Westchester going into next season.
Again, Travis Trice was also impactful, matching Deron Lamb's 22 points as well as his 3 rebounds. So we see these 2 great players accounting for 44 points between the 2 of them. It's phenomenal to have, again, these guys stepping up when needed.
Well, again, it's the guard play for Westchester stepping up. Both of them are combo guards that can run the point but can also play the shooting guard position, and it's so good to see them finally get into their own. And they were the 2, along with Endor, to really lead the way for Westchester to get back into this game. They were down 19 after the first quarter, pulled to within 7 in the fourth. They had a shot to win it at the end, but of course falling to Windy City. But the resilience of this team to fight back and not give up when they're losing by 20 points.
Looking ahead for Westchester, they face the Reno Bighorns, sitting at the lower end of the Pacific Division at 16-27, as well as a season series finale, against the Greensboro Swarm. So maybe we can see Westchester end their season on somewhat of a high note. Well, that's all the time we have today. For Westchester Knicks Weekly, as always, I'm your host, Alex Fasano. He's Ian Sacks, and we'll see you next time.